hunter and a gatherer, feel like a traveler. You sure are from another planet. Tight, no explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days. Yeah, exactly. Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout. Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already.
Behind the laugh, however, a touch of sorrow.
So tell me, what do you need? Nope, don't smoke. Some of the other drivers do, though. There's still a few around, waiting for the jam to disperse. Or waiting for the sweet release of death.
Yup, nothing wrong with that statement. Your senses have nothing to add. You left the ask around elsewhere.
You could also check the kiosk down the street. Frit. With 3 T's. Rebishaw's weird. Huh? Oh. No, I ain't got any money. They don't want to pay for unfinished. The bosses, man. Makes sense. It sucks is what it does.
Maybe don't tell people. The people they don't like are actually right.
It's like, whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out. Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company. I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They'd know what's up.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching. Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. Us lorry drivers, camionneurs, you still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observe.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get onto the next one.
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here. analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries. And there's a sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Time to arrest him.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. They usually get shipped to Grad and the Occident, though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately. We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road. This rockin' beauty. Sure is, like a rash you can't get rid of. Neat. For carrying large quantities of cargo a long distance. These found tracksuits need to find their way to the kids way out.
There it is again. A little touch of sadness beneath his cool. He thinks he's spent too long in this lorry. The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm. In his eyes, an unfamiliar longing, flecks of brown and gold. It's hard to say. His gaze wanders southwest, down the street that goes beyond the horizon. The road continues for miles, flowing together with other roads, turning into causeways or bridges, ending suddenly in dead ends, or above the Jamrock Quarter, in the form of a raised motorway, and then the never-ending sprawl of Forburg, high above built to the old south, to the farthest outskirts of Revachol, through the checkered fields of farmland, upstream to the river Esperance. You cannot see. It's out of the city. Up ahead, the mist blocks all sight. A gale blows across your cheeks. It is cold.
Excuse me? Man, I don't know what to say. Not much anyone can do. I miss my family. They're all I have. My wife, second kid on the way, waiting all the way in Diora. And here I am, Diora of the Seven Seas. It's on the other end of Le Caillou, pretty much, on another island called Laurentide. What's it like? Good. And bad. An ache that brings you joy. I think of them a lot. What about you, cop man? You missing someone?
Is that what it is? This feeling? No, it's scarier than that. You're pursued by a hunter, smelling of apricots and sorrow, and the past.
I feel for you, my friend. It's good to miss someone. I like it, knowing there's something more than what I have with me here. But, thanks for this. It's nice to talk to someone, and I know it wasn't easy to ask. I hope you find your way through your own troubles. Don't be a stranger.
Yes?
Life doesn't need to be a struggle. I'll be with you in a moment, officer. Let me just finish my sandwich.
Have you no shame? Whining about your back every time you bring out the measuring tape.
René, you're a man with a fork in a world of soup. Please, let's just try to enjoy the game, all right?
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my concentration. You're old. I can see that. We're both old. Now stop grabbing.
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. Grab a ball and play it. Don't ask questions. Shoot first. Ask questions never. That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about the game. They wouldn't know anyway. They're way past their prime. You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. God, this is right. You feel the familiar tremble of excitement and adrenaline that precedes every victory. Time has frozen. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it, probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating, until you and the ball have. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until an embodiment of pure motion, a fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency. Behold the fear and confusion reflecting in the eyes of the two feeble geezers. Some would still say you're a cop, but I guess we're beyond that now.
Merde! Bordel de merde! What the hell is your problem? You vandalized our game, son! We can't play pétanque with 5 bull! Well, it damn well isn't. It's pétanque. You ruined a pétanque game.
Take it easy, René. This is just a misunderstanding, isn't it, officer?
Of course there's harm done, you orange slut. You are as a goddamn bull! Good. Mistakes are forgiven. The men at least try to right their wrongs. I believe you will try.
Just talk. It'll smooth things over. Old people like attention.
Unfortunately, I don't. Unlike most of the locals, I have no qualms about assisting law enforcement. But this affair has passed me by completely. In Martinez, the union is the law. So can you really blame them? Cop is a pejorative term. I don't have a problem with policemen. On the contrary, if I knew, I would not be afraid to tell you. I simply don't.
This is a man with a lot of past, but little present, and almost no future.
Yes. The terrain here provides an interesting variety to a familiar game. I do. Fire from heavy artillery. Why what? Because that's what happens when communards hijack your country, execute your supreme leadership, and turn your capital into a slaughterhouse. You use heavy ordnance to clean up your home. Commies, communists, socialists, anarchists, call them what you like. They just chose the name to feel special. Sadly, no. It was the foreigners who brought them to their knees. We should have fought dirty, like they did with their suicide sex cult propaganda and mad anarchist women strapped to shrapnel bombs. We didn't so, and we lacked caliber. God bless him, but the suzerain's cannons simply weren't big enough. Because this place is a damn beachhead. Had to soften the commies up first. Yes, the military coordinated amphibious landing to take back Revachol.
He finds your lack of historic knowledge troubling, a sign of mental deterioration.
Martinez was used as one of the 3 footholds in Revachol during Operation Deathblow in 08. The other 2 are off in Stella Maris and the Delta. This here is Blood Ground, where Coalition boots first made landfall and cleaned those rabid dogs out. Most likely.
Blood ground. You got old René going there. Like he isn't hungry enough already.
Don't get me wrong, officer. I hate those foreign dogs, but the enemy of my enemy and all that. They're the lesser evil. Damn right, son. They laid the fire of hell on the city before they stormed it. And it worked, too.
He approves of this radical approach. No.
The rest of the city got cleaned up, but Martinez they keep as a monument. And now the Union Socialists are practically running.
Well, it's your own damn fault. You, we, the coalition, Revachol, whoever you want to blame.
You don't even begin to truly understand the players on the table, let alone the specific circumstances surrounding the... What do you think? No, they don't. But I'm sorry it had to be the coalition. After 8 years of fighting rabid commies, boiling cats for... I would have preferred if the Right Honorable King Guillaume returned through Revachol. Or even if that damn...
This royal failure weighs...
Instead, all that is just, holy, and beautiful in the world was wiped away, and now it's neon signs with toothpaste ads everywhere. Foreign influence peddling garbage, and this is just what the commies wanted. This was their plan all along. This is what they wanted to replace the role of the suzerain with. Damn Frissel. He was the king we couldn't protect. The Carabineers failed him, and the crown. A true king in both blood and mind led Revachol before Fricelle. He would have been better, but the damn commies drove him into exile. The suzerain is the king! Has everyone forgotten already?
Soon, they will forget everything. Him too. Then he chooses.
It's no use talking to you. You are still in Daddy's...
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible. The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic. A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onug, written on the other side. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and grays appear. Behind the water lies a coast, studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows.
Probably some kids.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle while looking inside. This coin-operated viewer
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open. Are you interested in a new and exciting book? It's a bookstore, sir. We sell books, postcards, and some board games.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl. You're fooling nobody.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now. Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books. My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. Feel free to step in and browse our wares. I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out.
A sudden gush of wind turns the pages of the books on the counters. She covers her face, smiling. But she's cold.
Kind of you to offer, sir.
What could you do to help her anyway?
Oh, no, sir. I'm happy to help Mum by luring in customers. Besides, I have some hot juice in my vacuum bottle to keep warm. I do my studies at home at the moment. I have to help Mum keep this place running. Mum says it's necessary to do both because it builds character. Mum says a proper worker is due. Mum says it's peachy. She was a little afraid at first. There's talk.
Behind her, the window has been boarded up. You sense the boards creaking, twisting for a second, and some kind of doubt in her tense shoulder.
Cursed in the way that makes them say that no business has ever really thrived here, sir. That they all go... Exactly. But we've been doing fine so far.
We can go into the book.
It's the type of book where there's a rich lady and she has to choose between the good man and the bad man. Or there could be a story about a poor lady getting a rich man. It's about man and lady business, sir. It happens, but usually the guy gets rich in the process, or should actually be rich himself. Those are unhappy books for most of the pages. People sad about what they have lost, but then it all turns out just fine in the end. These are not very common. You can't have a choice between bad and bad. Nobody wants... Well, maybe then it's fine. Maybe if the lady then decides not to pick either, because she doesn't need a bad man. Yes, that would be interesting. That's really not a proper romance story. That's more like everyday life. Not in romance books, sir. These are about nice and pretty people, and everyone... I haven't read many of those. Maybe you should ask Mum. I don't think it's a romance story if the main characters break up, though. No, I don't know.
You can take this. Blossom like a pain flower. The girl is at a loss for words. She shifts and sways on her feet, looking confused and uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know how to help you. Sir, sorry, sir. I'm still little.
It's time to leave it be. You're about to make a child cry. Are you proud of yourself?
Maybe some about other books? Oh, kings and queens and generals of old, or artists and writers, or musicians, those kinds of people. There's usually something extraordinary about them. I think that's why people read them, to find the secrets of their fame.
Seems like most people who read those books fail to get more famous from reading them.
But it does make the famous people more famous. Okay, sir.
The girl keeps her hands folded, hidden. Why is that?
What do you mean, sir?
She knows where this is going. She looks around anxiously. The lieutenant stands by, looking at the two of you, a facade of true professionalism. He is far more intrigued by the situation than his poise reveals. She brings out her reddened hands, her nails frayed.
And you knew this from me keeping my hands folded? Well, that proves nothing. Anyone could do an easy deduction.
She actually is impressed. This is more like a defensive reflex. She nods, half provocative, half enthusiastic.
Maybe so, sir. Okay, I know it's a bad habit, and I shouldn't. It was okay, sir.
There's more that can be achieved here. Ask her to do the same.
You're quite sober.
The lieutenant does not flinch at the comment. He does not flinch even a single bit. He is intensely not flinching. It takes effort.
Because you usually aren't. I sure hope you are, sir.
There she stands, swaying on her feet, assaulted by the early spring breeze. She smiles at you. The whole situation suddenly feels familiar, somehow. Because you know each other. She's been talking to you so openly because you've talked before.
Yes, I stand in this spot all the time. You've been running around all week, sir. Sometimes without your shirt on, asking people questions. I haven't really understood. Of course, you've stopped by a few times. You certainly look better than the last time I saw you. Yeah, I can see. You don't have party eyes anymore.
Party eyes. Yes, of course. That makes sense.
I'm not surprised children have seen you running around with party eyes on.
You know, like a cat in the dark, all big and wide-eyed. It certainly looks...
The swiveling eyes of a loony drug addict. That is what she meant. You were probably... Fuck yeah. You should get some party eyes right now. Snap those sequins on you, boy. Oh baby, that's not what you have to worry about. Worry about the important thing.
I didn't know I had to do that. I'm glad I could help you, sir.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. Nearly all the titles contain the word
Oh, Man from Hjelmdal. A very popular series of adventure novels. Blood and violence, scantily clad women, epic narratives, all those mystical things he encounters. They're bound to grab those with little... What does it matter? They're all the same. However, if you're a novice of the series, I'd recommend Hjelmdalaman, the Man from Hjelmdal. It's supposed to be a good introduction to the series.
Rows and rows of Hjelmdalamen blur your vision. You make out some titles. Man from Hjelmdal and the Mammoth Riders, maybe 100. Man from Hjelmdal and the sages at the end of the... Those snow crabs are worse than they sound. Not even close. Man from Hjelmdal in hell. Man from Hjelmdal and the Forest of Slaves. Man, a twinge at the back of your head makes you flinch. Your eye starts twitching. Your hand reaches toward a book with glossy cover art of the very muscular Man from Hjelmdal in chains, kneeling in front of a staircase leading to a throne. A woman, she's laughing at him, belittling him. Between the throne and the Hjelmdalaman lies a bonfire, casting shadows on the wall. The shadow of the woman's headdress looks like, especially those leering types who seem to wear nothing but an armored bikini. There's also some sort of a... The display rack before you is burdened under piles of Man from Hjelmdal novels. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up.
Wonderful board games, sir. The Viticulturist is a classic for sure, or perhaps you'd like Archipelagos of Insulinda. A Braubritter is a fun game of economic competition, but can get quite intense.
Who are you going to play board games with? Do you have friends or family? It certainly feels like whatever you are will die with you.
Friends are technically like family. For playing with friends, I'd recommend Suzerainty. It's a civilization building game where you build a civilization, then set off to brutally colonize and repress other civilizations. It'll cost 12 real.
smiling as you...
Good afternoon.
Behemoth blocking the gate. What can I say? The Union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent. Let's say I was not making the kind of...
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in pride.
This isn't the first time the
People are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about...
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work.
This checks out.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you... He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term... It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. Organised labour at its best.
It's for crossing long distances in the greater Ravachol in the...
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol. But
She's having a good time arguing against the law. Too good, perhaps.
the boat? No, it is called...
The word "it" feels strange. A breeze ripples through the sails and tugs at your hair. Below, the sleek, fish-like shape of the hull parts the water. Beneath that,
Okay. How about Cordelechi 19? Why? Because it was manufactured in Revachol East by a company called Cordelechi, and its hull is 19 paces long. Why Dolores? Well, it means nothing to me. I think I'll stick with the factory name. But thank you for the suggestion. It's a pleasure craft. A 19-pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. My sloop, I like it a lot.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Officer, I assure you I'm a high...
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming. Where's the damn license?
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two insular... The other time, I would have finished the race were it not for an urgent work...
Actually, you don't. The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little known fact among us law officials.
About the boat? Good. What we do? I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can...
$1 billion?
$20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what they started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas. 200 centuries of care, deliberation and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs. The world...
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have...
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional.
Of course, I sympathize. But I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible. Trust me, officer, I am fully committed to resolving this impasse.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer. You know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want...
You're doing it, despite your own best efforts.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, the Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbour. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete... Or you can find your bag...
Detective, a word in private before we continue. The lynching. I'm sure you will, Detective. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? You could request a new one from your station, but that would literally take more.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients.
Ingredients for what?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is taking place at
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the...
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production...
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union...
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrart and the Dockworkers Union. Still, every chain has the lorries. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers. Well, perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver...
You'll be indebted to her, in a way. But one step ahead of the Union in another.
We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently...
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement.
Well, here's your chance, officers. No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the trade, thousands of liters of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of...
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first...
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid...
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
You? You're an officer of the RCM. Preciso Mundo. Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol, Detective.
Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia. We are.
Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition. The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Aliments Acts.
All three are good to know when we are out policing.
There's nothing basic about your role, Detective. It's true, yet, on the other hand, I know these people. The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility.
That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it.
Yes, Lieutenant. Permit me to conclude with this. Who you are, to me, is the police. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help. Glad to have been of assistance, the little that I know. Anything else? Of course, Detective.